Hello my lovelies, how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Point and Click Puzzle Games, whereby in this channel and tutorial we are basically on a journey of discovery essentially on how to build and code your own mobile app games, learning the LUA programming language and pretty much starting from the bare basics, assuming you know absolutely nothing about coding whatsoever. And the intention is that these tutorials are simplified enough that basically teenagers, secondary school age children, 11 plus say, can kind of more or less pick up and work with them. So in today's tutorial I just thought I'd point out some places on the internet you can go to research, to learn, to get some help and advice and all that kind of thing. So that's pretty much what we're talking about today. Right, so welcome back. So we are going to be covering quite a few different websites, so I do suggest if you have been struggling or something like that, watch this video in its full entirety, because it could be that the last thing I suggest is the one that helps you out and gets you out of a sticky situation. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is McCall. This is Point and Click Puzzle Games. It's basically a second channel alongside my business, so kind of fueling my passion, as it were, for 2D puzzle game, adventure game type development. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on over now to my left hand monitor screen where I'm on the Solar 2D game engine website for you. And if you want to know more about this, I have got some other tutorials that I've done so far on how to find out about this game engine and download it and install it. But on the actual Solar 2D website, as it were, it was called Corona SDK. So just in case you're looking and your names and you're getting a wee bit confused, sometimes you'll find that the documentation, because they're still in this transition phase as I'm doing this video, some things might still be called Corona or branded with a Corona logo versus the Solar 2D. But anyway, we're on Solar 2D, as you can see up here in the top corner, and basically they've given us some shortcut codes here to various different websites. So the first one we're going to talk about is GitHub. Now, I would suggest that you probably don't go here as the first port of call, but essentially this is a place like that you can share your code, games, apps, downloadables, free stuff that you might do. There are a good couple of people that I follow on here, as you can see. I'm on the sort of Corona, which is now the Solar 2D sort of game engines platform, and from here you'll find loads and loads of sort of resources and tools. At the moment, in the kind of stuff that I don't actually have to use this that often. I have downloaded a couple of example games or freebie games, sometimes to inspect the code of developers that are far better attuned to this stuff than myself even, so I can see that how they lay out their code and stuff. So it might be something you're more likely to use in the future as opposed to sort of maybe on the starting line. The next thing that we've got going on here is the forums. Now, this is a good place to start off with. The forums, if you go to categories up here and then have a look at the different sections, the area that I suggest if you're very new to coding that you start off in is tell a little bit about yourself, but they have this newbie question section, and it doesn't matter how simple or easy you think the question is that you are asking and you just feel like you're being really stupid. You know, nobody is a fool, everybody's had to start somewhere, so ask your questions. But what I do suggest, and as you can see for themselves, they do have some guides at the top here on how to ask questions, because there's nothing worse than somebody going, oh, I'm really stuck, I just need some help, and you're like, yeah, okay, but what are you stuck with? You know, you need to kind of narrow down and explain as best you can what it is that you're trying to achieve, so that people can have a look at your code when you send it to them and so forth. So if you've never used a forum before, definitely go and have a look here. This is a very professional place, so you won't find any, well, you are very surprised if you do. From my experience, let's put it that way, you won't find any sort of bad language or anything like that. It's very professional, especially in these new sections. And even if you are a kid and you're watching this and you're asking for help, might just be worth starting your sentence by saying, I'm 16 years old or I'm 14 years old and I'm struggling with this, I'm learning from YouTube videos or whatever it is, can you point me in the right direction with this problem? And that way people will also be a bit more sort of sympathetic with how they reply, so that they make things a little bit easier, because sometimes it's very easy for people to assume you have more understanding about terminology or words that are being used than possibly your age will allow you. So this is a good place to start, and you will need to sign in, you'll need to have a profile, and then you can just create yourself a new topic and away you go. And it's really, you know, as simple as that. You just explain what the problem is and you type your code in, and they'll give you the opportunity, like on that tag, on this button here, to basically reformat the code so that people can quickly see when you're writing a message versus when you're inputting code on the shout for help, as it were. So that's a good place to start. We've also got Discord, or rather this has come about quite a lot in more recent sort of months and weeks, as it were. Let me just get through this and continue. Basically, think of this as like kind of like a live feed or a live chat feed once you've logged in. Now you'll see from myself over here, there's two different platforms or networks, shall we say, that I'm connected with. One is for my Solar 2D environment. So at the moment I'm connected on this. I've got a couple of links at the top here. What they've got going on here is that they're telling me that there are 41 members that are kind of logged in at the moment. These little green dots tell me that these people are currently online, whereby the little moon means they're idle, which means they might have like logged in and not be at the computer. There you go, there's myself. And then down the bottom here you can see that there are loads and loads of people that are offline. So you kind of see who's available at the moment to talk to and help with. Now you basically can chat about anything, and again I would say this is I think the Discord rules and regulations say that you have to be over the age of 13. You could be sort of exposed to language, sort of adult conversation, but generally, you know, this is banter. Sometimes people can help you here. There's all sorts of things going on. It's kind of like a live messenger chat service for people that are currently gaming, but they're using it in the Solar 2D environment. And with my other line of work, my other YouTube channel, I follow vidIQ quite a lot, because these are the guys that help me do my keyword research. So there's another really good one for you. And then of course you've got your Corona or the Solar 2D documentation itself. Now this is one that, let me just fling this back up on screen, there we go. So if you can't see that too well, it's docs.coronalabs.com, but essentially here is where we generally will live for the first few months at least. It depends obviously how much coding you're doing. If you're really concentrated over a few months, maybe it's the school holidays and you're really knuckling down and doing this quite a lot, then you know you might progress through this section quite quicker. I live here in the API references. I think there's only so much information you can contain in your head, and whenever I come across something that I haven't done before or I need to know about something, there's going to be documentation. It's going to tell me the syntax, it's going to tell me the do's and don'ts, the methods, the functions, and all the other bits and pieces that you might need to have. The getting started guide, we will be, as these tutorials on my channel progress, working through these tutorials. So keep an eye on here. You obviously, this is why they exist. This is nothing to do with me, but this is why you can go and just literally take yourself through this learning curve on your own back. There's also some actual sort of topic focused tutorials. I definitely suggest you getting started here and working your way through at least the first few here. This one here, I'd say scope, goodbye globals, and the value of well-formatted code. They are sort of, those four I would say are definitely big ones for you if you're right on the start line. Okay, so that's another place you can go to get some help and whatnot. On YouTube, you'll find that Brian Burton has done a lot of videos on the whole LUA programming language. Now, the most of it will mention Corona SDK, and they are quite old now, but they still count, as it were. You can see that I've been checking out a lot of what he's been doing. There's like a whole series here on learning Lua, all the way down up to part 21, and all, as you can see in the minutes, some of them are like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 8 minutes. Everything's under well, I was going to say everything's under 10 minutes, and there's just the odd one there that is 12 minutes long, but they're short, sharp bursts. The only thing I would say is that Brian is an amazing man, really knows his stuff. He's I think he's got like a PhD or whatever, but he's a university lecturer over in the States. It's just that he does talk in proper programmer, techie kind of, he assumes a lot that you know a lot, even though he's breaking things down and explaining it. He will literally talk as if you know what he's on about, and sometimes you're like, what? And then you have to kind of go and kind of Google search on a term that he's just used and then realise what he's on about, and then the penny drops, and then you can carry on with the tutorial. So I would say that this, his concepts, these especially these first few videos here are really useful. Just if you're a kid and you're watching this, don't worry or panic too much if you're getting a wee bit lost with how he explains things, because he does use big words and big sort of programming concepts that you might just not have come across yet and don't quite fully understand. But definitely one to go and watch. And then we've definitely got another really good one, which is the LUA website itself, which is about the syntax to do with the code. This is the creme de la creme, shall we say, website when it comes to the learning the LUA language. They've got a reference manual that can point you in the direction of various books. We are talking everything on this site here being aimed at adults, not children. So again, sometimes I think they just make, I think developers, you know, they're amazing people that just write things in such a way that just don't need to be as complex as they are. But you'll learn to sort of adopt this kind of thing when you are getting started. There you go, it gives you a bit of a welcome, shows you how to build the codes, source code, things, tools, things like that. So again, some really helpful places, and they've got like chat rooms and things that you can also join and all sorts. So there's lots of places that you can go to get help when you are starting out. And eventually the idea for myself with this channel is that as and when I get a little bit more momentum, and obviously I haven't even had the channel up and running a week by the time I'm recording this video for you guys, but let's just fast forward maybe a year from now, the channel itself has got some traction. I will be doing possibly fortnightly sort of live Q&A sessions, which will be pre-advertised. So if you are struggling, you can basically jump on a live chat with me, stream away, give me a question, and I'll see if I can fix it there live, or at least point you in the direction of where you can get the problem solved and that kind of stuff. But that's not going to be happening straight away, shall we say. But there we go, that's where we're at the moment. So I hope this sort of basic little insight gives you some ideas on where to go and how to find things. I will put all the website URLs that I've mentioned for all of these websites in the description below, so don't worry if you haven't written it all down. I've got your back as always. And that's it from me today. So I'm Angela McCall. This was point and click puzzle games. I always go because I'm always thinking point and click 2D puzzle games, which is basically how I say what I'm developing at the moment. But there we go. So this is point and click puzzle games. I'm Angela McCall. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe to my channel, stay notified, and if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat below, because I'd be more than happy to help answer some of your questions.